Fawn, thank you so much for sitting down with me here on Motivation with Marissa.
Thank you for having me.
I can't think of a more motivational person when it comes to all that you've accomplished throughout your life, and also a short period of time, at least when it comes to Uncle Nearest.
Yes,
you know, it's been a lifetime in the making, but certainly as of late. How are you feeling to know that you've played such an integral role of getting his story out there?
You know what's so funny is because sometimes I have to step on the outside of myself. So even when I walk the grounds of Nearest Green Distillery and people are walking and they're so inspired and they're crying and they're motivated, and everyone that comes on the grounds, especially women and people of color, especially black women, they come on those grounds and there's something that rises up inside of them that says, I need to dream bigger, because there's nothing we can put on social media or online that really shows the scale of what we've built in Nearest Green Distillery. Well, but when I walk the grounds, I'm looking at all of the buildings that are still yet to be built. I'm still looking at, and so I don't have the same experience as other people because I'm in the trenches building every day. So it looks and feels very different for me. But during those moments where I get to sit, kind of step back for a moment and try to appreciate it in the manner that other people outside of me appreciate it, I do stand in awe that I was given the opportunity to be able to do something so extraordinary.
How were you first introduced to Nearest Green? How did you discover this true American story?
The same way everyone else did. It was on the cover of the New York Times. And I happened to be in Singapore at the time, so it was on the cover of the New York Times International Edition. But I don't know very many people who did not see that story. It was one of the top 10 stories for the New York Times that year. So it was all over the world. I think the difference between what other people did is they saw the photo of Jack Daniel with what we now know to be George Green, Nearest Green's son, seated to his right. And so many people online and social media immediately determined that Jack Daniel was a slave owner. He stole the recipe, hid the slave. And I looked at the photo and thought, this is the only known photograph Jack Daniel has ever taken, and he decides to put an African-American man to his immediate right in the 19th century.
At that time.
It was, if you think about every Kentucky bourbon, they all had black distillers. We don't know a single one of their names. Why? Because Jack made sure that he and his descendants continued to speak Nearest Green, George Green, Eli Green, to know the legacy that they had within Jack Daniel Distillery, within the founding and the building of that company. He was always very clear about that. No one else seems to have found that to be important enough to have left documents, and certainly not a photograph. And so while everyone was instantly had determined that it was a negative story and it was one of those stories that African Americans had been stolen from, I saw it and said, if my gut is right, Jack Daniel may be the first business ally that we've had. And so that was the story that I wanted to share, because for us as a group of people, I am always looking for hope. Always. When things are going on in the world and everybody's on social media and everybody's gaslit and everybody's upset, and they come looking for me and says, what do you have to say about it? I'll tell you when I have hope. If I don't have hope, I don't speak on it. I'll speak on it when there's hope, because there's always hope embedded in every single situation, but you have to look for it. And I do it in every situation, and my mouth does not part until I have found the hope in a situation.
I mean, it was you looking for hope, but would you also say that it was on you to tell this story the right way at this time?
There's no question.
Yeah.
There's no question. I was chosen for a very specific reason, and when I get to heaven, I'll send down the message to tell y'all what that reason was. I don't know. But what I do know is that I viewed this story completely different than the rest of the world. So the entire world is reading and learning about the exact same story at the same time. Tens of millions of people, if not hundreds of millions of people, are reading the story, learning about it, and I'm the one person who saw the hope. And so I do believe that is why I was chosen, because God built me to look for the hope in a story like this.
There was anointing over you. There had to have been.
Yeah, there's no question about it, because even so the front of the book has the cropped photo. That is what was on the cover of the New York Times. But I opened up the book by showing the full photograph. And if you see the full photograph, what you will notice are two things. The first is every person in that photo, this is Jack Daniel's leadership team, every person is sitting except Jack. Jack never grew to be more than 5'2". He's standing, but what you can't see is that he is leaning in toward George Green on a cane because his right leg had been amputated. And so you have George Green and his nephew sitting right in front that are essentially covering his infirmity. This day and age, something like that, we will honor it, we will respect it, we will talk about coming over the hurdle. At that period of time, that meant nothing but weakness. And so you have the two people who you trust more than anyone else in the world to cover your weakness. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the African American man isn't just seated to his right. Jack Daniels ceded the entire center position of the entire photograph to the African American man. And so the question became, who is this man that he would say, everybody don't stand around me, stand around George Green? I wanted to know why.
Why was he centered?
Absolutely.
Why was he centered?
Absolutely.
Speaking of stories, and this has certainly been one of discovery, reclamation, your story is nuanced too. It's easy to talk about the success that you've had, over $1 billion valuation. What were some of the challenges to get to where you are and to stay here?
So I think the reason why I'm here is I don't pay attention to the challenges. It's not my focus. And the reason it's not my focus is I believe that whatever you focus on grows. I don't want the challenges growing. So I'm always focused on the solutions. On any given day, I look forward to one day being able to write a book that shows a timeline of as I'm out speaking to you and as I'm out being initiated into Theta Sigma, as I'm out being inducted into the Marketing Hall of Fame, as I'm out, like all of these things are just now happening. First D9 member to enter the Shark Tank as a guest shark. And listen, all these things are going on. I can't wait to put the side-by-side timeline so that people could see all the insurmountable challenges that were going on right alongside it. The difference is you don't hear me speak it, not because they don't exist, but I'm not interested in seeing them grow. I am interested in seeing the solution grow and moving forward. So I could go all the way back from the very beginning, the start of this company, and the number of challenges that I've had to work through every single day for the last 8 years. When y'all see it on a timeline, you're gonna be like, how the hell was she smiling? Very simple. I wasn't focused on the challenge. I was focused on the solutions.
Gosh. And also being a Black woman in the space that you're in. Talk about that, because I don't want to call it a challenge.
I look at it as a superpower. I look at it as a superpower. When I walk into a room full of billionaires, they all look similar. They're all of the same age, they're all white, they're all men, and I walk in and I'm able to bring not just a diversity of color, not just a diversity of gender, but a diversity of thought, a diversity of worldview, a diversity of experience. I'm never walking into a room trying to get anybody to think like me. I'm walking to a room with clear thoughts of how I think and a clear respect for how you think. But I have an ability to share with other people, this is my worldview and this is why it's my worldview. And by the way, I respect your worldview, whatever it is, but this is mine and I want you to know why it is. And what happens is that once people hear that and they're able to hear it in a way that's not offensive to them, because I'm not trying to change them. I'm not trying to change what they think. I'm just sharing my own personal experience. And they're able to take that with them and to really walk it out. So then when they see someone else who looks like me, who moves like me, who talks like me, where before they may have confused swagger with arrogance, they may have confused a confidence rooted in humility with arrogance. Now when they see that, they will understand, oh, that comes from having overcome so many times that you don't have nothing but to know God is on your side. That confidence comes from that.
It's a position of knowing.
It's a position of knowing.
I want to ask you, since you mentioned going into those rooms and sometimes you're the only one. We've heard the past couple of years now people talk about imposter syndrome. And does it exist? How do you dispel it? I, for one, I've always felt, and Fawn, I'll tell you this, I felt like the people who got the positions were the imposters, because it always took me much longer to reach certain goals. I always felt like I had to work harder. So I personally never dealt with it, or at least saw it that way. Have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome?
Absolutely not. Let me tell you, the issue with imposter syndrome is, number one, it was one person who determined what it was. There wasn't a whole lot of studies that came out. So then you have all these people applying this theory. But here's the issue is, remember when WebMD came out and everybody started self-diagnosing themselves?
Google University.
Yes, and all their diagnoses were wrong. That's what's happening with imposter syndrome. It's a big, giant WebMD. And so when I walk into a space, I'm very clear in saying that I belong here. I know I belong here because God put me here. So as long as I show up as my authentic self, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is where the challenge comes in, is most people show up in life as a representation of themselves. They don't show up as themselves. To their friends, to their family, they feel comfortable to show up as themselves. But then they go into other spaces and then they show up as a rep. Well, a rep's not covered. A rep's not anointed. A rep isn't supposed to be in the room. You are. And so the imposter syndrome comes in because you didn't show up as you. But people who show up in the room as their authentic self, knowing that they are supposed to be there, that they were placed in that room, that they were purposed to be in that space, they walk in with all the confidence in the world. And it's not an arrogance. True confidence is rooted in humility. They walk in that space with all the confidence in the room, and what they will find is all of the other people that are in that room, they want to know what allows you to have that level of confidence. You're not looking for anybody's approval. There's so few people in life that are not looking for someone's approval.
I have a couple of more questions as we round out the interview here. You have that go get it mentality, super successful, accomplished, and smart. Also the backing of your family. I mean, your husband Keith has been so instrumental.
He is my partner.
Tell me more about your partner.
He is my partner in all things. We will be married 22 years at the end of this year. We work side by side every day. We talk to each other on the phone all day as I'm on the road and texting each other. And he's my favorite person in the world. He's the most incredible human being that I have ever known, that I am certain I will ever know. And I love working alongside him because he gets me. He, we'll joke well, probably daily. We're joking and we're laughing, and I'll say, listen, your mama told me that if you had gotten bored, that this would not have worked out. So I'm making sure that you stay. And he goes, I could use a skosh more boredom. I love that. He's like, just a skosh of boredom. I was like, no, your mama told me. You shouldn't have any boredom whatsoever. So I am fulfilling your mother's dream for you as a wife. And we laugh about it all the time, but he is absolutely, people say a lot of times, he's my best friend or she's my best friend, and then they divorce. And you're like, what happened to the best friend? Right? What just happened here? And a lot of times that best friend is not also your partner in life and isn't walking through you. My husband is in the trenches with me every day. And again, I cannot wait. The Lord will not, I don't believe, will release me to write this book for many, many, many years. But when he does, people are going to look at it and go, how in the middle of all that was she smiling? And the smile is so genuine and it is so real. But people are going to be amazed because what I push through every single day usually stops people in their tracks.
Yeah, but you push through anyway because you don't focus on the challenges.
No.
Yeah.
It's a hurdle. Jump it.
Ooh, I love that. Well, you're feeding me even right here, right now. Shark Tank.
Yes.
What are some other big projects that are soon to come? I'm excited to see
Listen,
you.
it's nonstop. I mean, the cognac is coming and it's coming fast. It's coming fast. And so the number of things that you will see rolling out of my camp over the next 12 months will blow your mind. It will absolutely blow your mind. So Shark Tank is an absolute blast. I am so comfortable in that shark chair. Let me tell you, they're like You know, this is the first time she's done this. Yeah, no, I'm super comfortable in that shark
They
tank.
might end up keeping you in the Shark Tank if they can.
We're having fun.
Yeah.
we're having a lot of fun.
Any advice you would give business people out there, entrepreneurs? I know recently in an article you were quoted as saying you don't have to necessarily sell your business. I know a lot of people think they have to in order to be successful. Yeah. Any gems you would leave?
I would say, first of all, if you're the quitting kind, don't start. Because being an entrepreneur, you can be an intrapreneur. You can find an employer like me who looks for intrapreneurs. That means I give you your goal, you own your role, your position, and how you get this job done. A lot of people think they want to be entrepreneurs because they don't want anyone lording over them. But there's plenty of employers that won't lord over you. Look for the right employer. But most really want to be intrapreneurs. They don't have the stomach for the risk it takes to be an entrepreneur. And so they will run into a hurdle, and they'll jump it, and they'll keep jumping for about 3 years. And then you'll just kind of see them fall off. And I'm like, if you have the ability to fall off in a few years, don't even start. Because entrepreneurialism is going to give you every reason in the world to quit. And there is literally only one difference between those who you see that you're looking at up on the Forbes list and everything else that are so successful. There's only one difference between you and them: the quitting in between. It's the only difference.
Don't stop in the middle. Finally, I want to end this interview, a conversation where we started. You opened talking about when you cross that river and get to the other side of life, what you will come back and tell us.
Yeah.
I want to know what you believe Nearest Green will tell you, and what will you say to him?
You know, I think that I truly, based on everything I know about Nearest, I don't think he cares about any of this. I really do believe that he and I are very similar. When I leave Earth, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I am not going to be thinking about what anybody on earth thinks of me when I am in heaven eating fruit from a tree that bears 12 fruit, one each month. You think I'm going to be thinking about anything down on this raggedy earth? Are you playing with me?
Earth where?
Earth where? Earth where? I cross over to heaven. The last thing I'm thinking about is what people on earth think about me when I'm gone. It doesn't cross my mind. I think Nearest was that way. Who does care, and why I believe that there has been such a drawing in of me to tell this story and to set the record straight and to cement the legacy of Nearest Green, I really don't believe that that's Nearest's goal. I believe it's Jack's. And I could give you 100 reasons why I believe it's Jack that is orchestrating this from heaven. I don't believe it's Nearest. I think I'm going to get to heaven, and Nearest and I are going to sit back and have a glass of whiskey, and we're going to be sitting there talking about all the hoopla that he don't care about and I don't care about.
Because you've arrived.
And then there's this little, but then the little 5'2" guy, I bet you he'll be full height. He's going to be walking around heaven. He's like, these are the legs I did not have.
Dancing among the clouds.
Yeah. No, I've very early on in this journey, I concluded that the person in heaven that's pulling these puppet strings is Jack, not Nearest.
Fawn, thank you so much for your time, your gifts, your stories, your legacy. I appreciate you, and thank you for keeping us all motivated.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Pleasure and an honor.
Thank you.